Hello and welcome to the Figment3D Unity plugin tutorial. Figment3D is a rendering system that's been in the works for 20 years, and it has an editor similar to Maya or Rhino, but it has a very small memory footprint. And with a single DLL, currently it's Windows only, the Unity plugin exposes about 11 functions that let you generate surfaces and place objects on surfaces very easily. So there's 17 different primitives in Figment3D, and they're all defined parametrically, meaning they're in the UV space. And the third dimension here is height, which always is in the direction of the surface normal. So it's similar to traveling around on Earth, where you don't really think about your space, you just think about where you are and you know which direction up is. So with the move button, you can have the object move around. You can change the direction so it can kind of drive around. It's really a lot of fun. You can change the ship size, change the avatar, the model size. We can resample the resolution of the surface in 2 dimensions. We can scale the spine curve or the slice curve. This is called a generator, and the spine is called a trajectory curve. These are swept surfaces. With the twist feature, you can twist the slices as you go. There's certain ones that will line back up. With the coil feature, it's like a spring. Control the velocity of the ship. You can always press reset if you get lost. So when it gets to the end, it will just stop unless you tell it to bounce. And you can bounce in 2 dimensions. This is closed in the other dimension, so it wouldn't make sense to bounce, but if it was an open surface, you'd bounce. In debug mode, you can see one set of coordinate axes per vertex, which can be useful. That's not shown here. One really cool feature is volume control, which basically, when you move the spine, it inversely sets the size of the slice curve to maintain volume. And it works with any shape for squish and stretch deformation. Now with load fig, we can load one of the a handful of fig files were provided. So we can take a surface like this, make it bigger, make the ship really small. Make it a higher quality resolution of the surface. Stretch it out if you wanted to. And then we can simply select main camera and turn off that one, and we'll be in the other camera mode. We want to flip it around. And now we can drive on the surface. So it's always orienting the shape to the exact location. Ideally, it would have momentum, so it wouldn't be immediately orienting that way. But that's something that you could add. Making things tumble or roll is really easy. There's no collision detection going on right here. It's just mathematically plotting, it's figuring out where it is and it's placing it on the surface. So if you wanted to put objects that you collide with, it wouldn't, it's not taking up time for collisions. Now, if you wanted to drive around on a torus, you have to, this one caveat, you have to switch this to be a -1. It elevates properly. I tried to automate that. I was having a hard time automating that. So now we can drive around on a torus, which is really cool. So I'm hoping to support some games where we have non-planar, non-typical environments. As an example, you can change out the material or the texture map. That's shape size versus avatar size. And you can always press reset. The alias tells it what the name of the OBJ file is. It always uses the same name, but if you wanted to use a different one, the first one would persist. And if you don't have any alias, it will use the primitive name and or the fig name. And there's also an option to decorate the name with the resolution. For example, Taurus underscore 8x8 versus 64 by 64. There's only a handful of functions being used here. Ultimately, the sliders program data, which is packed into a struct and passed to the F3 generate OBJ function. And then once you have that, it persists, so you can call the DLL and say, give me a certain location on that surface. It's really fast. This concludes the Figment3D Unity plugin tutorial. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at info@figment3d.com. Thank you.